This is Support is Sexy, episode 46, with LeVine intervention host, Abbey LeVine. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons, and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so happy to have you here on this Labor Day. If you're listening to this on the first day or whatever day you're listening, I'm so happy to have you because it just would not be the same without you. So today I'm excited because we're doing something a little different. I was recently featured on the LeVine intervention radio show with Miss Abbey LeVine, who is fabulous and just great energy, incredible spirit. I really love her. And on the show, we talked about my hangups really around success and, to be honest, around support. It's something that is the reason I started Support is Sexy. It's something that I noticed in myself as a hangup and something that is holding me back, which I know and I'm aware of and am moving toward being better, which is why I push it so much for myself and for other women and other people in general. But on Abby's show, we really talked about fear of success and how you need to surrender to success. In fact, that's what the episode was called when I appeared on her show just last week, I think it was. So it was really a great experience, but also it was honestly an intervention. Like, she really dug in about what was going on and what I needed to get over in order to get past my hangups, and gave me a whole new, later as I thought about it, a whole new view of success and what it means to me. So some of the things that you'll learn on this episode are the importance of asking yourself, what would it look like if this were easy? Something that I always try to do now. Letting go of the how. Also realizing when you're playing small. How a fear of success and fear of being seen will hold you back, which are my two big hangups. Also contemplating what would be possible if you got past the blockage or whatever is holding you back. What's on the other side of that? That gives you more incentive to really push through that or to understand it and to move on the other side of it. Abby also talked about how to meditate on your success, which I loved. Realizing there's no magic in perfection. And what she says is there is no quote unquote they. We have to let this idea go of they are not going to like it, or I'm waiting for their permission. All of the they don't exist. We need to let that go. So I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, it's a little different. Abby's show is called LeVine Intervention. She does it every other week. You can hear it on kpiss.fm, and also visit her on LeVine, LEVINE, intervention.nyc. We'll have all the links on the show notes, so go to supportissexypodcast.com. You'll see her there, and you'll see all the information about Abby, great links to her show, and all of the resources that we mention in here. But like I said, I had such a great time doing it. Really wanted to share it with you all. So without further ado, Abbey LeVine interviewing moi on LeVine Intervention. Here we go.
Always thought I'd be alone in my own happiness. Always thought I'd walk this road on my own. You know, 'cause 1,000 different reasons had me feeling that I didn't need no one. Then you proved me wrong. Oh, I love what you tell me. Oh, I love what you tell me. Oh, I love what you tell me.
Hello, and welcome to LeVine Intervention, offering humor, perspective, and advice, answering questions you'd be too afraid to ask your mother. I always forget to pull the chair over before I start that part because there's like lots of engineering to happen. There's hands flying everywhere. So happy summer, happy end of summer. I have an awesome, huge, almost Oprah-like guest in the studio today. I am super excited. Fighting a little cold, so I'm a little nasally, but full of spit and vinegar. So don't worry, we're going to get a whole big awesome sauce show for everybody today. Yes. So today's show is called Surrender to Success, and it's really amazing and fun to see how these shows keep elevating and going higher and being exactly what I need in my life. and what I hope my listeners need. So this is kpiss.fm. It's 7 o'clock on Tuesday evening. If you're listening to this on my podcast on iTunes or on Mixcloud or on Levine Intervention, welcome. Grab a cocktail or a tea, put your feet up, and enjoy the ride. As I said, today's topic is about surrendering to success. So I like to start with a couple facts and figures pulled by my rock star producer. I have been forgetting to give credit, by the way, which is ridiculous. So I just want to call out Elise Osborne, who has slid ever so effortlessly. Okay, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. Into my producer role. And is rocking it. And she is really, really, really bringing this up to another level. So Elise pulled some facts and figures for me for this episode. And the first one is, why is it so difficult to ask for help? This is from the New York Times, right? So I found these to be very intriguing, and I think tapping into what we are all thinking. So this article, which was published a little while ago in 2007, but you know that research stuff, it doesn't go away. It always makes sense. It says that in a society largely based on helping yourself, just go to any bookstore or library and browse the voluminous self-help section. It may seem odd to promote the idea that we need to learn better ways to ask for and receive assistance. It's true. There's like a whole library of self-help. But today's show is about getting help, receiving help. And further in this article, it says there's a tendency to act as if it's a deficiency to ask for help. There's an understandable fear that if you let your guard down, you'll get hurt, or that this information, you don't know how it will be used against you. I mean, especially in New York City, right? Like, yeah, we tend to be a little bit tough and tumble here. But those are some facts and figures. Well, really more some quotes. We couldn't there was no pulling numbers, like how many people ask for help every day. So we're going to get right into it. Levine Intervention, Surrender to Success, Elayne Fluker. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are cool totally location. Adorable. Isn't this amazing?
I love it.
She's I love Punk Alley. I love K-Piss.
Exactly. What
right?
can I do to be here? I'm all up in it.
Aww. Well, we have to get you connected if you want to have your own show here, too, possibly.
I see.
Not putting any pressure on.
Say what you want.
There you go. So tell us a little bit about yourself if somebody hasn't seen your website or know who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you. Again, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My website is ElayneFluker.com. That's my name. And I've worked in media for 20 plus years now, from digital, magazines, done some radio and some other things. So media is my thing. I'm really passionate about it. But in the past few years, and one of the reasons I'm here to talk to you, I've been an entrepreneur now for the past, I would say 4 or 5 years. And it's been a wonderful journey. But as a solopreneur, even though I work with other contractors, I've been experiencing myself and also talking to other women about the issue that we create ourselves. It's not really an issue. It's something that we create ourselves, of asking for support. And last year, I think it was summer 2015, I attended this workshop called Momentum, which we can talk about more. But one of the things that I noticed within that group, it's all these leaders and fantastic people. It's like a personal development workshop and all kinds of things you go through this process. I mean, activists, people who lead thousands of people. The hardest things for us to ask for, most of us, were 2 things: love and support.
Aww.
I mean, shaking.
Wait, are we supposed to be asking for love?
Yeah, yes, of course. There are ways, of course.
Or light bulb moment for me.
Yeah.
Asking for it,
Asking, or just even admitting that you want it or that it's something necessary in your life. I know I'll speak for myself as a woman in New York, especially you get into this hustle and whatever this thing is that New Yorkers that we have. I'm a native New Yorker, so it's a crazy little thing. But you forget sometimes about the relationship piece unless it's something that you truly focus on, meaning, so in that way, talking about love and relationships. So that kind of thing. So I started after that, going through that process and then talking to other women about the challenge of asking for support, because what you mentioned in your statistics of just this idea that it makes you look weak or there's something wrong with you if you do that. And I came up with this idea that, okay, support is sexy. I'm going to start viewing support as sexy. And whenever I said it to other women, they would sort of light up, like just
Right.
the face you just made of people, because it's sort of like, oh, support is.
Well,
okay.
I saw your website, girl. It is no joke. It is super, super sexy
Oh.
and cool and easy to read, and
Thank you.
it pulls you in. So it automatically made me say, yeah, there's definitely something sexy going on here.
Good. So that's sort of been where I've been, and I started a podcast called Support is Sexy and a community around it. But it really is something that it helps me personally, even though it's something I still struggle with. But so that's just.
So
the whole
what's your
concept of
podcast
it. The
format?
Podcast, it's called Support is Sexy. It's 5 days a week, and I interview.
What?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
You do this 5 days a week?
5 days a week, girl. It's crazy.
Do you have a producer?
No, I'm doing it all myself.
Oh my
I'm looking at
God.
producer booking, doing the posts, writing the content on the website. But this is
Wow,
why I'm here.
good for you.
Well,
yeah.
Not good for me though.
Right.
Because I'm like half asleep right now.
My heart is like palpitating thinking about doing this. I can barely do this 2 times a month.
I know.
With help, honestly. And because there's so much. Right. Okay. All right. I'm caught
it's
up.
Sort of like, but isn't the first response though like, wow, that's great? And it's sort of me like, yeah, that's great. And then I'm like, I'm about to fall asleep any second now.
Well, I know what it takes to produce this stuff,
Yeah,
right? And make it
so-
happen.
Exactly. So I interview women, entrepreneurs, leaders. I'd love to have you on the show, actually. We'll talk about that.
Oh, what?
But we interview women, entrepreneurs, and leaders and creatives, and 5 days a week to share their stories about their journeys as entrepreneurs, but also their support network and how support has shown up in there. So it's this whole idea of that, but
That's amazing.
5 days a week, Monday through
Tell
Friday.
us where people can find it.
Yes, supportissexypodcast.com.
Okay.
Yes.
And just curious.
Yeah.
Do you have a setup at your place
Yes.
where people come?
No, I do it all via Skype. It's
Okay.
I've interviewed people in California. I've interviewed people in their
Right.
pajamas, wherever
Sure.
they are. Yeah, so this way I can do it with anyone from everywhere. That was a thing for me. One of the things that I heard, I don't know if you listen to Tim Ferriss's podcast, but you may know Tim
Sure.
Ferriss, the writer, and all those things. And one of the things I heard him mention on another show is when he was thinking about doing his podcast.
Don't travel.
Or that,
Yeah.
and the thing he asked himself was, what would this look like if it were easy? Which is another question I've started asking myself about. He was talking about podcasts as far as editing and things, but overall, I started saying that to myself too when I want to do a new venture or whatever it is. What would this look like if it were easy? Because I can always go the hard way. You know, that's first mind. Like, let's do the impossible thing so it feels really good and people tell you how fantastic you are. But okay, if it's easy, I can do it from home. People can be wherever they are. People don't, I talk to a lot of people who are used to the first question every woman asks, do I have to get my makeup done?
Right.
Because
Well, they
just
want
used
to.
Yeah, they want to, and then they're used to, these are TV people or whatever. So it was really looking at the way it's easy. Now, that's easy, but me doing everything myself is not.
Well, yeah. Okay. First of all, I just want to back up for a second and just say out loud that my New Year's resolution is everything is easy.
Everything.
So
is
that's
easy.
interesting. I'm so glad to hear that little tidbit for Tim Ferriss. So that's cool. I really believe in that.
What made you think that? What made you decide to make that a thing?
Because the struggle is real, girl.
Yeah.
Right? The struggle is real. Yeah. And for me, coming here is easy, right? As I was starting to tell you before we went on the air live, I used to rent microphones, pay an engineer, get a whole soundboard, get it edited down.
Mm-hmm.
I would have different songs going throughout it. Like, it was a whole process, which I love because for me, that was an easy production because I produce TV shows, which take months and months and months and months and months to do. But one of the many reasons I wanted to be here was because the setup's here.
Right.
So even though I kick my steering wheel every time I drive here, it's so much easier
Right.
to have a setup here, and it's a really cool station, and the station owner is amazing, and we're doing cool stuff. So I believe strongly in that
Figuring
concept.
out the way to make it.
Yeah,
what
and
look
it could
like
be
if were
easier
easy.
for me too, right? Like I was telling you, I live in Tribeca, but I'm in Brooklyn, and she's like, well, everybody else is from Brooklyn, and I never go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
But
So there's that. Yeah. But still, you've made it easier for yourself. And who
Yeah.
knows, a little bit further down the line, you might make it even easier. But at least starting from that place has really been helpful as opposed to where I've done other businesses. I launched a website and it was like almost like TV, but it was all video. And I was used to doing these, having been in media, these large scale productions.
Right.
Well, it was self-funded. So I ended up spending a fortune trying to produce
Yes.
it, as opposed to looking at what would this look like if this were easy, which is what I've started doing now.
You and I have like very similar paths. It's funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's like the music festival that I held in my backyard in 2008 to raise money for Hurricane Katrina victims, but I ended up spending as much as I raised.
Right. You didn't
So
start
I was
from
like,
that
well,
easy
I guess
place,
I just
right?
spent it, and then the money can be donated. There was no easy place there.
Right.
We have to find our easy place, right? But we've learned. So okay, so you have a podcast 5 days a week, which, I mean, that is like Howard Stern amount of material,
It's Oprah level. I love joking
Yeah.
about Oprah, like
right?
trying to be on the way.
Yeah, you are on the way. What else are so? How long does that take you to do the podcast?
Each episode or overall?
Just like a week.
A week, I would say it's at least 20 hours a week.
Okay.
It takes a significant amount of time,
Okay.
just because and that's counting everything from initial email to the guest to say, hey, I'd love for you to be on the show, to the final copy and social media. So like now, for example, I'm speaking to someone that I've worked with before, who's hopefully will be the booking producer. And then I know Connie, who was on the show. Actually,
Yeah.
she and I talked about, she has a friend or someone she knows who does production for podcasts. So I'm starting to look at the pieces. I've done 40-something episodes so far.
Okay.
So, I've done plenty myself.
So
I get
it's
it.
pretty
I
new,
know.
actually. So that's only
July
2 months
4th.
old. Okay.
July 4th.
Okay, great.
Yep, I launched
Congratulations.
on July 4th. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So do you have a job?
You're
You're an
I work
entrepreneur, so I'm guessing no, you don't
right,
go
not
to
a
work.
full-time
Okay.
job, but I
Okay.
worked with consulting several different companies. The most recent, for example, was Huffington Post, which ended
Cool.
actually just before or just after the 4th of July. And I actually talked to them about doing something longer
Yeah.
term with them. They were looking for something full-time. And I really wanted to give this a shot, which was very scary, to
Yeah.
say, oh, no, I'm not going to take that right now. I loved working with the people that I worked with there.
Yeah.
And, it was really great, is a really great team. But I just wanted to really give this a try and see how it goes. So in between, I still consult other people. And actually, I'm launching a coaching program around Support is Sexy, September 15th, which people can go to elaynefluker.com/free to find out more.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're building a coaching program, you're hosting a podcast, you're consulting. What else is in Elayne's week?
What else is in my week? Wow, that's a pretty full week. Those are the things I primarily do, and creating content for people. So Chic Rebellion, CHIC Rebellion Media.com is another website
it.
that I have.
Love it.
That's really focused on creating, it's a multimedia content agency that creates content for businesses and brands that really want to connect with multicultural women. Because I have a background
Okay.
of working in general market media, but also niche publications as well. So I've been at Huffington Post, but I've also been at Essence, and I've been at Martha Stewart, but I've also been at Latina. So,
Yeah.
I have this background of experience. I think that's a thing for a lot of us now today, as women, as entrepreneurs, as creatives, looking at what's the experience, especially once you have a few years in the game, right?
Yeah.
What's the experience that I have, and how can I package this to
Yes.
offer this in different
Yeah.
ways to people? One, the things that are important to me, like Support is Sexy.
Yeah.
And then the other things are just skills that I have that I still enjoy doing, so it's that's the reason why it's a combination of things for me right now, which is a happy place. But nothing's easy, but we're trying to find that space. What would it look like if it were easy?
So explain where you're coming from with this support piece for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's your personality? Are you don't seem type A per se.
I don't know. I don't know. It's
Where does
maybe I'm
the
an
you have to carry
undercover
the whole
type
world
A.
on your shoulders thing come from?
I'll tell you, that's a great question. I think this is what I think it's from, my own psychoanalysis. When I was younger, my parents, I loved them to death. Everybody who knows me knows I adore them. They're lovely people. They're in their 80s, but perfectly
Aw.
healthy, which is great. But growing up in my household, I grew up in Long Island, and a lot of people in my family came through our house. So meaning it was if someone had an abusive husband, or there was some drug addiction problem, or it was always, it's life. Everyone has that. But my parents, being the oldest of our family, especially once my grandparents passed, they were the place, our house was the place where people sort of came in and out of through that flow. So I think for me, I perceived needing support as being in a state of crisis.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
honestly, when I look back to say, where did this idea come from? Which isn't, of course, a fault. They're generous,
Right.
loving. They still, to this day, they support me and everybody. Anyone has a problem, they come to wherever my parents are, because
But they
it's who
tip the
are.
scales a little bit, right? Like they're. It sounds like with generosity, they wanted to provide a soft place for people to fall,
Right.
and they would be the first call if somebody was having a very big problem.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And I observed also on the other end of that, them not asking for or accepting
Right.
support when they did need it. They still struggle even to do that now. It's very much, oh no, we'll be okay. It's like, well, no, you need help
Right.
with this. You know, I always tell people, I laugh every time I go. They live in Atlanta now. When I go visit them, my dad is, he's actually just celebrated a birthday the other day. He's 87 now.
Happy birthday.
But I bring, thank you for him. I bring home my big suitcase, coming from New York with all this stuff, and he still wants to carry it up the stairs because it's just what he does. As a man, I'm like, Dad,
You let him, right?
barely, I help him. I let him think
You
he's
gotta
doing
let
it.
your dad
Yeah,
carry
you
the
gotta,
suitcase. That's the one
exactly.
thing, right?
But that's
They
the
have
thing, support.
a
It's
helpful
like,
men.
Exactly. It's a
Right.
Southern thing. They're from Alabama. That's what they
Oh.
do. But yeah. So I think to answer your question, I think that's where it started. And also your other question, I think I'm a very compassionate person. I'm
Yeah.
very loving. Have always loved supporting people. It's just naturally who I am. It's just now become a thing.
Yeah.
But it has always been, though, tough for me to even admit that, even realize, it's not even admitting it, to even realize that I need support, which is what that program that I went through really showed me, how once you open yourself up to it, so much of it comes into your life in ways
yeah.
that you can't even imagine. I always tell people you can't script how it'll show up for you.
It's so true.
Yeah, like this place, I'm sure it was you weren't sitting down doing your podcast in Tribeca or
Right.
whatever saying, but in a few months, I'm going to find this really cute place in Bushwick
Right.
that's going to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Well, it's the you don't have to figure out the how.
yes, I say that too.
Right?
I
You don't have
say
to figure
that,
out the how.
Let go of the how.
Let go of the how. I just know that I want to have an international podcast that's hugely successful and gets syndicated, bought by a brand.
There you go.
Right? So that's where, and this is the first step to my TV talk show.
There you go.
So I don't know how that's going to unfold,
and how could you know?
but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And it could be now or in 20 years, it's not, there's no expectation on it.
Right.
It's
And you
just
just
that
take
it's
the step,
happening.
what's the best next
Yeah.
move, right?
Yeah. So do you believe in angels?
I do. I believe in angels and spirits and guidance from a higher power than myself.
And do you ever talk to them?
Yes, I do.
What do you ask them for?
I less than talk to them. I journal a lot, and
Okay.
it's always me as if I'm talking to another person, being, energy, or whatever that is. What I ask for the most is clarity around things, which on one hand is good, but on the other side, it's that part of me that wants to figure whatever it is out. What should I be doing? What should I
Right.
be doing? What should I be doing? So I journal. I mean, I've been journaling since I'm 16.
Yeah.
And I still have them.
Do you
actually,
write
so-
like Dear Angel or whatever in your journal?
No, I usually
okay.
just start out, start writing whatever's going on, and then I usually end it actually with saying, "Thy will be done." So that's why I know
I
to
like
sort
that.
of release
Nice.
it, say, whatever will be, will be.
Nice.
This is what's supposed to happen, but this is what I'm hoping. This is what I'm going through. This is what I want. I'm try to be clear because they say you're
Yeah.
supposed to state what you want to create and that kind of thing. So I don't hold back there.
So do they help you?
I think so. I think it has to be grace,
Yeah.
mercy and grace. What is grace is getting the things that you don't know. Mercy is not getting the things you do deserve. Grace is getting the things you don't deserve. So I've had a little bit of both,
Oh, mercy
Mercy.
me.
So my angels are grace and mercy, and they have definitely
that's really
been-
cool. I like that.
They
I like
definitely
that.
have given me a little bit of both along the journey.
So what's an area of your life that you feel overwhelmed? Because you're here and you're mellow, or like, where do you feel like you're playing small?
I feel like I still, even with all the things that I'm creating, to be honest, it's a great question, that I'm creating, I still feel like I'm playing small. And I don't know if that's ego, like I need to be bigger kind of a feeling is coming from that, or if it really is me doing all of these things to keep busy, but not really playing at a big scale. It's, I have trouble being seen or I'm good at, like you
Talk
said, I
more
have a
about
nice
that.
website and all these things, and I can certainly create something to be seen, but then being seen sort of makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why.
What do you mean by being seen exactly? Like,
seen,
you
like,
can't imagine yourself on a stage, or do you mean actually like this, like one-on-one being like, because Because you're being exposed right now, right?
Right.
Is that uncomfortable?
No, this isn't uncomfortable. I guess it's this idea of, it's a feeling of not knowing if I'm quote unquote ready to do the things that I want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's more of what it is. It's because when I do interview, hopefully you think this is going well, but when I do interviews on stage or talks, or I've been on TV and and entertainment, all these other things, I'm pretty good at it. I feel comfortable doing it. I can take myself out of my own body actually and do whatever I need to do in that moment. So that's not the part that's uncomfortable. It's more the, well, who am I to be doing that? Am I ready to do this? Even with launching Support is Sexy, it was something that was in my mind for a long time and I was thinking about for a long time, or creating the program that I talked about, something I've been thinking about for a long time. And I think that's okay to a point, because you want to mull it over and see how the idea evolves. But then at what point do I say, okay, this needs to be seen. I have to release this to the world. So that's something that I am constantly pushing myself not to expand and to be able to do that and not to be constricted.
When you're getting on stage or you're going to is it like, I have a two-part question. One, how do you book that if you're not ready, like in theory? And then is it afterwards? Do you think like, what are the thoughts about, because you were just seen, right? Mm-hmm. So how do those bookend?
I think, well, for most of the I'm trying to think, most of the appearances that I've done have been for something. So it wouldn't be me necessarily saying, hey, I need to get booked on, whatever. It's usually things like that'll come to me through someone referred me or conversation. That's another thing that's an interesting.
Wait, like what?
Like I did. Because
you do on camera. You're a host?
I've done on camera.
Yeah.
So for example, years ago, I did the Today Show. Okay. And it was creating a fashion segment for women's clothes under $100 or women's outfits under $100. But it was during time I was
you look
working.
So cute, by the way. She has like red lipstick, red nails, super cute. Yeah, and Chucks, yeah.
But it was with iVillage. You know what I mean? So it was through them. It wasn't like I went to the Today Show and booked this thing, or I've done, say, when I was at Essence, I did segments on CNN when Halle Berry won an Oscar, or it always was around something like that, connected to something.
I mean, so you just go on the Today Show or go interview Halle Berry.
Exactly.
Totally run of the mill, whatever.
No big deal. That's why this is why I'm here. You have to help me.
Yeah,
it makes no
those
sense.
are huge things.
There's no logic. So I do it, and I feel fine doing it, and I know all the tricks before. I know, this go on camera, you jump up and down, get the energy going.
Right.
You do it, and then after, but then it's like, oh, but am I ready to be, was I deserving to do that? Was I ready to do I need to do these other things before I go?
So after you interview Halle Berry, you say, was I ready?
Yeah. No, I think it's less those things and more the things that I want to create.
I know, but I want to back up to those because I'm making a point here. Mm-hmm. So why would the Today Show believe in you? And believe in you, and iVillage believe in you. So all pretty big brands.
Right. Pretty big.
Why would they see you and then other people wouldn't?
Right. That's a good question. And I've never asked it, but that is a question that I will have to ask myself. Or why. I think it's never been anyone else's problem seeing me. It's always been my own.
Right. Yeah. Fear of success.
Maybe it's fear of success.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Because, Elayne, then you have to, stay skinny, stay cute, be young, be smart, stay ahead of the pack, don't piss anyone off, right? All these things. No, that's not true. I think that's the old paradigm.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, but I think in general, a fear of success is then having to keep it going,
right?
And stay up. It's exhausting, right? Thinking about it. Like once you're successful, then you have to, Angelina Jolie, then you have to marry Brad Pitt, then you have to adopt a baby, then you have to adopt another baby, then you have to direct a film, and then you have to own your own production company, and then you have to lose more weight. And it's like, right. But we know it doesn't have to be that way. There's careers you can have where you step in and step out if you want to, if that's the fear of success. I mean, we have to get to what potentially your fear of the success would be, but like we know that all these old paradigms of getting up, staying up, being perfect,
right,
don't have to exist anymore.
I think that's a great point. I'm going to have to meditate on that tonight. But I think also to your point about it not being what it used to be, like even the way people look on TV now or the way people have to be on TV. You know, you've done television production. You know, it's just, it hasn't changed completely, or it's not as inclusive as it could be, but it certainly has changed so everyone doesn't look the same. So that isn't even the issue. It's just my own hang-ups. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something to think about. Like,
No,
what if that block were gone? And because you're already on a hugely successful trail. I have a secret for you.
Yes.
I looked at your website.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, this girl's coming on my podcast?
No, you weren't.
I swear to you. I said, she is a big deal.
No, you were not.
I swear to you. I said, oh my God, am I going to have to like take a shower before I go and like put my red heels on and
put on a red lip.
Show up? Well, I didn't do that, but I got nervous.
Oh, no.
I was like, she is up there. Yes.
Wow. See?
Yes.
Well, you saw something.
Yes, I see it. I see it. And I think other people see it.
Thank you for sharing that.
And you are not allowed to waste one more second not thinking that.
It's over.
Anymore.
Over. As of today.
It's over.
Yes.
Yes.
In Punk Alley. Over.
Punk Alley.
I'm leaving it in Punk
it's
Alley.
over. Leave it in Punk Alley. This is so good. I do this in my spin class too, right? Because it's so dark in there. It's so loud. Everybody's sweating and huffing and puffing. I'm like, leave it on the floor.
Exactly. Right.
So we're going to leave it in Punk Alley. I mean, it is a cool studio, but it's a little bit stinky out there. So I don't think that they'll notice if your theoretical shit is on the floor out there.
I love it. I'm going to leave it in Punk. I will forever remember this now.
Punk Alley, Punk Alley.
Right. I love it. You're right, though. And then, like you said, too, think of what could be possible if that blockage was out of the way. Because other than this conversation, you know, I'd rarely talk about it or acknowledge it or that. It's
of
just
course.
One of those things.
Yes, thank you, by the way. Yeah, thank you.
One of those things you just live with and have there and know, this is a thing. I don't know how to get rid of this thing, but I would do whatever it is anyway. Today's show, iVillage, whatever. But it still was
well,
always
since
a thing.
you meditate, will you consider meditating on clearing the block or already being cleared and already being successful and just sucking in?
Tell me how to do that, because I meditate. I do about 10 minutes every day, sometimes longer,
enough,
depending on.
Yeah.
Depending on. I know some people do an hour. I don't. My monkey brain goes crazy.
No. Yeah, no.
But
right.
what is it just thinking of? I know some people have said something like, think of something drifting up, I guess, down the river to you, and then the idea or the answer that you need will sort of come, just this idea of flow. But I don't know. What do you suggest?
Okay, so I think there's two routes. One is you can record yourself a message and listen to it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I am Oprah. I run my own talk show. I am building my own studio, whatever it is.
Right.
The I ams, right? And just own it and just listen to it. It could be a minute or 2 minutes. And just before you listen to it, just take a super deep breath, you know, and clear out the space.
Right.
I tend to like breathe in like an orange color. I honestly, I don't know why that is. It's just, it's powerful and clearing.
All the colors
I think
on my website are orange because of that reason. this burnt sienna. Yes.
Isn't that funny?
Yes, we're connected.
Okay, well, there you go.
There you go.
So just breathe that in and then breathe it out, and you can listen to whatever you record. Find a spot where you can do that, and it doesn't have to be a big deal, right? It's easy, Elayne, right? It's just easy. Just think of what you want. And by the way, you know, we both know this. Success isn't always about acquiring things and actual success, right? So it's about intimacy, human connection, you know, forgiveness, gratitude. It's all those things.
Right.
So put that in there too, and then just listen to it.
I love that. Just sit
yeah.
sit still, have some stillness, listen to it during that time.
Yeah,
I love
and make it short and easy. You can even listen to it on the subway or like when you're walking, and just make it your own. It's your own. It's a gift to yourself every day.
Right. I've done recordings before and listened to it, but I've never done it during meditation.
Yeah.
I think that'll be powerful. And then doing the things that you said, like breathing it in, thinking of color, and then saying all the things to release. I like that. That's good support.
Oh my
Abby.
God.
Yes.
So excited for you.
Love it. Thank you. That's good.
Do you want to say what some of the things are? Because we can always like write it now. I can take notes for you or something.
I love it.
You know?
One of the things for sure would be, it's so funny what you posted earlier about the Oprah-like kind of thing, because I've always said things like, I want to be the Oprah of digital.
Okay.
You know, of digital media and having online and radio and that kind of, or podcasts and that kind of, so that would be one of the things. We talked about love. Relationship would be another thing that I'd have to put in there.
What? Specify.
Specify. A loving, committed, passionate relationship.
Man or woman?
Man.
Okay. Hold on. Do you want to get married? I can't type that quickly.
I gotta get a picture. You type it out.
Yeah. Look, she got support. I'm typing for you on the podcast.
Exactly.
I'm doing a radio show and I'm not talking because I'm typing.
Exactly. I love it.
Okay.
I love the support.
Yeah, you pull it in, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny. I do just want to help you, actually.
Really? Is it because I'm pitiful or because you want to support me?
Is that what you think? Is that a real question? Is it like a teeny bit real, though? Just a teeny bit?
It might be a teeny bit. You're like,
Isn't that
so
interesting?
beautiful.
Isn't that interesting? I know, but okay. Just a teeny bit.
Maybe a teeny
But, okay, here's a question. What if you were pitiful?
Right. And what if I were pitiful and just needed the support? There you go.
Maybe you're pitiful.
Maybe I'm pitiful. I need to embrace that.
You know? That's the thing. That's the reality. Oh, I got so snagged this weekend. I went away with I went away with a friend. Okay, well, I can't get into the story. Something happened this weekend, and one of my friends said, "Face it, Abby, you're picky." And I was like, no, I am not picky. Like, we're talking about food and cooking, and it's true. I like certain cuts of meat. I like to slice them a certain way. It's a whole thing. And I 48 hours later, I was finally like, oh, fine, I'm picky.
Right.
You know, like, wild free spirit of me, like, doesn't want to admit that I'm actually super picky. So what? So I'm picky. So I own it. So I think you might need to own that you're pitiful. Because here's the deal. Also, it's funny, right? It's a worst case scenario. Like, obviously, you're not pitiful. But even if you were pitiful, and that's why I was helping you right now by typing out your love interest.
I know.
So obviously it's not pity. What would be wrong with that?
Right.
Like, just break that down.
Nothing.
What would be wrong if you were pitiful?
Nothing. It would be, especially if I were pitiful and you were supporting me, because it would be what I need in this moment, which is what the thing about support. It's what you need in that moment. It's not something that makes you pitiful or makes you too vulnerable or weak or anything like that, which is some of the things that we all think.
I'm about to have a coughing fit.
She's about to have a coughing fit. It's the typing. It's the talking. It's the everything. Pat Abby on the back.
It's this damn sore throat for the weekend. Okay, wait, hold on.
But I think to your point is if that were the case, or pitiful or not, or whatever it is, it's what do you need in that moment, and support is what you need in that moment. Or even this conversation is supportive to me. Being on the podcast, obviously, or the radio is great, but also it's supportive to me to have this conversation and to connect with you about what could be the things and how can this, be better or different or easy.
And it's super beautiful that you're doing a whole podcast around support is sexy. Like, that is, it's such a good niche. Yeah. Because because in theory, support is like what the maid does, right? Mm. Or it's not.
Or what people who are, to your point, the pitiful thing, right? Like I talked about family or people that I thought, oh, it's always some kind of crisis, so they need support, as opposed to,
I just saw a whole branding campaign about like the funniness of pitiful, like actually just owning it. Like, I am pitiful, if there was like some sort of humorous way to.
Well, like, people do own it. So funny. Someone, I can't remember what. Oh, I was trying to do a podcast interview and the person couldn't figure out Skype, and she just sent me a message like, "I'm a mess."
Right.
So it's sort of we own our messiness.
And what did that do?
It made me laugh.
Right.
Yeah, we both laughed about it. She figured it out eventually. It's just like, but we own our messiness, but not that other part of ourselves.
Totally. And that's
Yeah.
what makes us human too, right? Like, do you want a perfect robot in somebody?
No.
You know, like when you're dealing with somebody, do you want somebody who has super high standards and that you can't meet, right?
No. You know what's funny on the podcast? The first, I guess it was the first 7 episodes. The women I interviewed, I asked them a certain question about support and people in their lives who supported them that they wanted to thank. 5 of the 7 started crying during the podcast. The first few, I know, and I really was. I was like, okay, I'm on to something here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is something. But also, it was just interesting to me because a lot of them afterwards said to me, I haven't had a space, you know, especially in media, because most of them are media people in some way or another, where I could really share that or be that vulnerable or be able to thank a person that supported me or thought about, because we kind of go over their life from childhood to their business and all the things they're creating, and really thinking about the ways people have shown up to support them and how much it has meant to them. So I say all that to say it's interesting that being vulnerable actually makes people open up in ways that they never did before. And it's what a lot of people who are listeners say that they relate to the most about the podcast. When people are talking about their flaws and the messiness and the pitifulness at times, or the mistakes, the quote unquote failures or lessons. So, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're perfect, you're not relatable.
Right. There's no
know?
magic in perfection.
No, that's a good quote.
Yeah.
It's so true, right?
Yeah.
There's no work to do in there. There's
No.
no wiggle room.
Right. What can you can't
That's a
create
good
anything
quote.
there. Thanks.
It's so true. There's no magic in perfection.
Right.
Yeah, but yet we're ingrained to think that
Constantly
we need
pursuing.
to be perfect.
Right.
Right. It's so bizarre.
Right. But then it's what is perfect? What is the standard that we're all living up to? It's different for everyone. There's no one perfect woman or everyone can't agree on what that is, but we're all pursuing this sort of elusive ideal.
What? Okay, so wait a minute. We're in the middle of making your list. Okay.
Right.
So I'm sorry. The
So
coughing
we got
fit
the
is
man,
over.
the coughing fit is over.
Relationship, love, committed. I wrote relationship, love,
Passionate.
loving,
Did you write-
committed, relationship.
Passionate.
So I'm clearly not a good note taker while
I'm
I'm
gonna
on
have to edit
air.
that when Abby sends
Yeah,
it to me. Yeah.
passionate.
Passionate.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta have the passion and fun. The Oprah of digital,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to travel and have different experiences. That's something that I've done a little bit, but that's really something that I will put on this recording and meditate on. I'm very much.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to Bali. I've never been to Bali. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to India, South Africa. You don't have to type all that.
Oh,
But
I'm
these are-
on it. These I can do quickly.
Right.
For some reason.
Tokyo. So many places. Just travel and explore and be able to experience other cultures, people, places. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to create a business like I'm creating with
Yeah.
the podcast and that. Because a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, speaking of support, my friends and I planned this annual trip to Martha's Vineyard. We go every August. It's a big thing. We've been doing it
Beautiful.
for 3 years. So much fun. All the kids go because friends have kids
Fun.
and all that stuff because they live outside of New York. So they can do that. So we all go, have a good time. And I wasn't going to go this year because I was thinking, no, I'm focused on this podcast. I told my friends, we've already planned it. It's already paid for. And I still wasn't going to go. And they were like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, why wouldn't you go? This could support what you want to do, is what they actually said to me. Like, this could be the space. You don't have to go and not work. Because I was thinking, we're going to be too busy. I'm never going to have time to do the show. I need to hunker down in my, 2-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn. And I had this whole, I'm going to quote unquote sacrifice thing, right? Because that's what we do.
Right.
They were all like, you're stupid.
The struggle
Don't do
is
that.
real.
Yeah, the struggle
Why
is real.
have fun?
Right, why have fun?
Why travel and do your job?
I know. And I got to tell you, it was the best thing, not only because it gave me getting out of New York, we literally are across the street from the beach where we stay every year, but then also I recorded the podcast.
Can I come?
Yeah, absolutely. Next August. Reported the podcast from the beach.
Of course.
And I did the whole thing.
That's your whole dream. Right? That you can do it everywhere. And you're like,
Standing
no.
in my way.
And you're like,
in
no.
my own way. No, it's not possible. That's not going to. They were like, but why wouldn't you? They couldn't understand it because it didn't make sense. But sometimes but that's an example of when that support needs to show up to you when you don't even know that you need it.
So how did you get there? Did somebody set you straight?
I had a few friends who called and like cursed me out. Like, I won't even say. You know what I mean? It just was like, what are you talking about? I mean, it was loving.
Right.
So those kind of friends who can curse you out in a loving way.
Yeah.
But it was sort of like, it's already paid for. Why are you going to do that? Why are you, doing this whole martyr thing? If I have to stay here and you can do it from there. Isn't that the whole point of this business? They're all, it was quite interesting. But I finally was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then honestly, once I said, okay, it was such a release. And then I think this is the year I had the most fun, because I was like, I'm here. I'm just going to do any issues or problems or whatever. They're still going to be there whether I'm here in Martha's Vineyard. So,
and you're really doing something that you love from somewhere that you love, being surrounded by people that you love. Right?
Win.
It's all a win.
I know.
So how did the podcast go while you were there?
It was fantastic. It's been one of my most popular episodes that recorded when because
of course, because you were in your pleasure.
Yes, and I talked about the importance of breathing space, is what I called it, giving yourself breathing space, but also your business. Because I needed to. That was the first time I was able to see the business, the possibility of what I was trying to create. You know what I mean? Because I can do it, of course, from in my home studio in Brooklyn. Right. But can I really do it on the grass in Martha's Vineyard across from the beach? Yes.
Now, why wouldn't you? In your head, why wouldn't you? Like originally,
it felt like why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I believe I
could? Originally, when you said no, I can't do this.
Yeah, it didn't seem. I can only see it as a far off vision. I couldn't see it as something I could do right now. That whole going back to am I ready thing, right? So that's one of those examples. I could see it as down the line, this is what I'm creating. They're like, no,
you did it.
You're creating
already.
It today. Like, let's try it now. And I did it from there. And I was supposed to do an interview, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to record one from the grass and see how. And that's another thing too. I talked about not being afraid to break shit. Can I curse? Break stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah, you can curse.
That's just one thing, but I talked about that too, because the whole perfection thing. We're so
I forget to tell people that.
Yeah, I don't curse that much
at the beginning.
But that's the thing. Like, we want things to be perfect, but you
Girl,
can't.
I got a 37-year-old virgin laid on this show, so we had to talk about some swears and stuff.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Uh oh.
You gotta listen to First Time Sex.
Oh.
That was one of my favorites.
Was she holding off? He or she?
She.
Holding off for a reason?
She was brought up Mormon.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So how did you get her laid?
You have to listen.
Oh my God.
It was
Talk
really
about support.
Fun. I know.
Yikes.
She then, all right, I'll tell you. She then married the guy.
Oh.
After she had sex with him, right? But that's different. But they fell in love.
Right.
I know, right? I know. And she brought him on the show. She brought him on the follow-up show.
You definitely got an angel for that.
Isn't that fun?
If you don't believe in him, you still have one.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
I know.
I love it.
I know. Thank you. Sorry. So okay. So the shit was good in the grass.
Yeah, exactly. It was feeling mighty good in the grass. And I was talking about not being afraid to break things. Like, you just have to know that if it doesn't, whatever, it's going to be fine. You have to be able to do that.
Because also you're not
grow.
live, right? Like, for instance, you release them every day though, so you do have to record them every single day, right?
My plan is to get, and which is why I want support around it, is to get ahead. Because right now it's so close. I feel like I'm so close to the ledge with it. Like, if I miss a day or have a sore throat or something, you're going to miss an episode, which won't be the end of the world, but I haven't missed one so far. So the idea is to get ahead with them. But this was something that was, I recorded it that day and I posted it like that afternoon, because I decided that day. So
how many are you? What's the plan to do these for a year or 6 months?
I don't have an end goal in mind as far as the number of them. I do have a goal of wanting to continue to expand this idea of supported. That's really what it is. It's around the whole Supported Sexy program and things that I'm creating. That's really why I wanted to do the podcast, and for myself is also. And it's been supporting me to be able to interview all these fantastic women.
Cool.
So there's always the benefit of that too, and be able to ask them all the questions I want to know about my own business and how to help people. So I don't see an end in mind for that. And who knows, like you mentioned, I hope to be able to partner with a network or something in order to produce the podcast, and looking for a great home for it, since it's something I'm already doing completely.
How long is it?
Each episode?
Yeah.
It's about an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
An hour, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to the meditating, we're going to make this list. We'll make this list off air. You'll make this list, right? Somewhere good. It's going to keep going. It's going to have travel. It's going to have love. It's going to have success in it. And you're going to meditate on it. And I think it's also, this is something I've said in my earlier podcast, and I don't know why this is just, I feel like I need to say this to you, but so there's no they. I think that's a really important concept, right? So like they are not going to give you permission to be big.
Right.
They are not going to, you know, tell you can't do your podcast at a certain time. They are not going to say, Elayne, if you go to South Africa, your podcast is not going to happen.
Right.
Because you are going to tell them that yes, it fucking is.
Right.
Right? You can be riding an elephant doing a podcast if you want to.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So just remember when you're going throughout this too, that it's like you really have all the control in the world that you possibly need to do anything at all in the whole wide world. And there's also no tomorrow. I mean, I think it's important to plan for what's next, but it is right here.
It's right
like
here.
it is
I
right
agree.
now. Like no one is gonna crown you ready to be Oprah.
Right.
You're just Oprah.
Right.
That's it,
I
girl. You're
am.
just Oprah.
I am.
Her slot hasn't been filled yet.
Exactly. I'm coming for it.
Right?
I am. The Oprah of digital. Remember that you heard it here first. That's my
What does
thing.
that mean?
I really love digital media, so podcasts and online and video and that kind of thing. And television, of course, is great. We all love TV. It's still one of the primary things that people watch. But really looking at other ways to be able to reach people, especially globally. That's another reason why I want to travel.
Yes.
But also, as you mentioned,
Yes.
podcasts, too, can go everywhere. It's not like 8 o'clock Thursday night in the U.S. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so that's really what
You just
I
gave me an idea for my
envision.
vision board. Thank you. I actually, do you know, so Ira Glass is sort of my,
Yes.
right. So
Oh,
I would
that
love to do a
recording.
live
What's the
show,
recording of him about
like
the
a live,
creative-
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, I would love to do like a live show in an auditorium with a live audience, answering questions.
Oh,
and
yes.
just like being put on the spot.
I love
and
that.
doing that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be really, really fun.
What will that look like on your vision board? Will you just look for images and see what I do vision boards too every
Yeah,
year?
I don't do those anymore. I need to. But I will tell you, I don't do vision boards, but I probably should. I just find that I don't know where to keep them. Like it's like a weird thing of mine. Like I don't really want it in my living room for everyone to see. And
I know some people who do them and put them away. I've heard two schools
Yeah.
of thought. I have mine up on my mirror actually because I feel like it's of one of my mirrors, a reflection of things that I want. So I have it on the mirror.
Nice, like
but
that.
And other people I know have it framed. I don't have it framed. Then others still just they've done it and then they look at it and then they put it away and have it within their space so the energy, quote unquote, energy of it is there, but they don't have
That
to
I
look
believe
at
in.
it.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So it's different ways you can do it.
I mean, if it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist, right? So like you do, yeah, it's good visually. I did those for a long time. To the point where I think I was sort of holding on to like, where's my man and my horse in the sunset? You know, like, come on, Cosmo. I started getting really quiet to create. Actually, I say no to a lot of things now. I don't go out to drink as much as I used to. I don't distract myself. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't distract myself. And I know how to say no. Like I invite things in and then if I want them I keep them and then I let them go. And it's been a pretty quiet year for me. I work mostly from home so I don't have to deal with a commute, which gets a little old being at home all the time. But the stuff I'm doing now is big. It's
Right.
getting really big.
With this show and other things that you're
With
doing?
this show, with the TV show I'm producing, I have a couple concepts I'm producing. I'm dating some really fun people that like I'm like
People, I
am
love
dating
it.
you. Oh yeah, no girl.
Yes,
I
we're dating
got 3 or 4 in
people.
rotation at all times.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to do another
Yeah.
show about that.
Oh yeah. Well, I do a lot of my shows on dating actually. I love
Yeah.
dating. I think it's like totally fascinating and fun research and I think I've been monogamous like my whole life, like been wanting, I've been trying to like lock someone in and like start my family and now I've like completely, I just have this gently out there, like I want my family, but now the dating is just, there's like no pressure on the guys at all. I'm not
Right.
trying to cling on to them at all.
And it's freeing for
And
you.
they all know I'm dating a bunch of people.
Right.
I don't lie about that,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I remember talking to this woman at the hair salon where I go to maybe about a year ago, and we were talking about dating, and I was like, oh, I wasn't in that space of things being easy yet.
Right.
Oh, it's so hard in New York today. And she
Yeah.
was like, she literally said it like, I love dating.
Yeah.
And I just was like, wow, I've never heard anyone do. She was like, it's so fun. Even if it's bad, it's fun. It's funny. She's like, it's a story. And she just went through this whole, like, she just was so lifted by this idea
Yeah.
of dating. And I said, you know what? I am going to encompass that now every time I think about dating.
Cool.
Just, I
She
love
put it
like
in your
what
head.
you said. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
what you said, like, oh no, I see 3 people or just have fun and make it easy. So I have to start thinking of it that
is.
way.
I mean, it's uncomfortable for them too. They don't want to like, but that's why it's just fun. You know,
Right,
whatever you
just
go
fun.
out, you have a drink with somebody, you get to, people are interesting, you know, or not, like
Or
she
not.
said,
Exactly.
or you have like
But
a
then you
really
have a
funny
fun story
story.
for your friends,
It's like a
exactly.
great
Don't
story.
have so
yeah.
much riding on it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I taught a class in that too.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, okay, want to be aware of the time because somebody is coming up behind us. So, Elayne, do you feel like you learned a couple of things?
I feel like I learned a lot. I did. One about dating, which is very important. keep them in rotation, which is a good thing. I love recaps. Also about, as you can see, I'm like, so this is what we learned today on Levine intervention.
It's television, right? Tell them what they're gonna see,
Exactly.
see it, and then tell them
Show
what they just saw.
Exactly. Told you I know a little bit about TV.
That's the formula that we use.
Exactly. So,
As you know.
and also, and then the idea of clearing space.
Yes.
So going through that and really getting over that idea of fear of being seen or what that might look like or be like. Waiting for they. We don't wait for they. They are never.
there
gonna
is
show
no
up.
they, right,
There
right,
is
right,
no they.
right.
They is all make believe in our head. Trust the angels, grace and
Yeah.
mercy. Continue to trust the angels. Meditation and doing my list, which I'm going to
Yes.
do on the way home. And what else? Yeah. That's,
Oh my God,
that's
you are
been
so
good.
cute. You had a
Thank-
real Levine intervention.
I really did. Thank you. And
Yay.
also, you also taught me people see me.
Fuck yeah, people see you. Yeah, you
I
are
love
so
that.
seeable.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
that
Like you
should
said,
be
when you
part
said
of
you
your
looked at the
meditation or whatever.
website and-
Yeah.
I
Oh
just
yeah, for sure.
was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're-
you guys go check out Elayne's website and you let her know what you think, right?
Yes,
Say your
please do.
website, spell your name so that people can see, because it's like I was like, wait, how do I get my website that cool?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's ElayneFluker.com. So ELAYNEF as in Frank, LUKER.com. You can go check out everything. The podcast, if I can say again.
Yeah.
It is Support is Sexy. It's Support is Sexy podcast.com. You can see all the episodes there. We've got about 42 of them up as of today.
Which she
And,
did in like 2 seconds.
Exactly. I did it 5 minutes ago. And then the last thing is ElayneFluker.com/free, FREE, just to see about the program that I'm creating to really
Cool.
empower women. So yeah, those are all the fun things that we have going on.
Well, I hope a lot of people hop over from Levine Intervention and that you get
I
some
hope
really great
so.
clients from there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
I really,
you.
really, really appreciate it. I end the show by doing a quick little segment.
Okay.
It's just it's a question.
Okay.
I like to do this so that we remember to have gratitude.
Yes.
So the question is, Elayne Fluker, what made you happy today?
What made me happy today? This moment made me happy today. Yeah, being here with you in this
thank
pink room and
you.
your fabulous pink
Oh,
top,
yeah.
and it's just all quite fabulous. I love it. I'm all for it. No, honestly, being here at this moment and this space, and it's such a fun location, and you're great energy and
Thank
spirit,
you.
and you gave actual advice.
Cool.
You know, this isn't the fake thing. You're the real deal.
Yeah,
you're cool
yeah.
people.
Take
Yeah,
that
she's the real-
international fame,
Yeah,
real deal.
real deal. Exactly. No, honestly, yeah, I'm grateful for this moment. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, now you ask me.
What are you most grateful for?
I am grateful for, and what made me happy today, I never think these out ahead of time. Right now what comes to mind is this really good gyro that I had for lunch. There was a street fair in my neighborhood, and I went to take the puppy for a walk in the afternoon, and I got like this really good hot lamb on my salad. And it was so good.
So good.
And, okay, wait a minute. I have one other thing. I'm sorry. I have to do two. I played hooky from myself today and watched the last episode of Stranger Things on Netflix. Oh, God.
What is Stranger Things?
It is so
I need to
good.
watch that this weekend. I only allow myself TV on the weekend.
Oh, that's a good habit. I don't do that.
Stranger Things?
It is called Stranger Things. It's with Winona Ryder. and a bunch of really cool kids. And it's like Poltergeist meets Goonies. Incredibly well written with amazing themes about love and family and survival. And it takes place in the late 80s.
It's an original series?
Sherry Barkley, you're going to love the show. If you're listening, you have to check it out. What? It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Awesome. I have to check it out.
So good. It's so good. Okay. Thank you to Elise Osborne, my producer. Engineer by the badass Drew Connolly. Elayne Fluker, thank you again for being here today.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
You're so sweet. This is LeVine Intervention. If anybody has a question or wants to come on the show or tell us how awesome this show was, you can write me at levineintervention@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a beautiful one and see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Searching for the light.